Hi guys! Okay, so someone suggested that I make a video about self-harm, which I think is a really good idea because that's something that a lot of people struggle with, and it's something that definitely needs to be talked about. So I'm actually going to record two videos. I'm going to have one talking about if you have self-harm yourself, self-harm issues yourself, and another one for helping someone who deals with self-harm issues, like a friend or a family member. So this is the one that's going to be talking about if you personally have self-harm issues, and I mean, it's something that I can definitely talk about because I had self-harm issues myself. I am currently clean over a little over 4 years, which, yay me, I'm proud of myself for that. I mean, I think one of the things that is really, really difficult when you have self-harm issues is that at least I felt like I couldn't talk about it. And one of the things that was the most defining about the time when I had self-harm issues was that I was super, super obsessive about making sure nobody ever found out. Ever. I was completely obsessed with keeping it a secret. And it was actually something that, like, really became more disruptive to my everyday life than the actual self-harm itself was the act of hiding the self-harm. So I think the hardest thing to do, but also the most important thing to do, is talking about it. You know, you need to find somebody, and if not your parents, because I know a lot of times parents are actually not the best people to talk about this, you know, a friend, sometimes it is good to, like, talk to a counselor or a teacher or something about it because it's nice to have somebody. I at least think it's easier to talk to somebody who's, like, removed from the situation, but you do need to talk about it. And I feel like the problem is that a lot of people, there's this stigma associated with self-harm where I feel like people think that if you self-harm, like, it's put off as this, oh, that's something emo kids do, or, like, why can't you just deal with your problems kind of thing, where, like, self-harming means that you're, like, weak, or, like, you don't know how to deal with your problems and stuff, and it's like, yes, self-harm is not the best way to deal with your problems, it's not a healthy way to deal with your problems, but that doesn't mean that you as a person are immature or, you know, less mentally able to deal with stuff. You know, it's just you've fallen into a pattern of behavior that is self-destructive. And I think there is this fear that if you tell someone that you self-harm, first of all, that they will, like, run to your parents if you still live with your parents and you're in a situation where they're in control over, you know, what happens to you, or, you know, that they will tell someone, or that it will somehow affect your relationship with others. And all I'm gonna tell you, really, is that if you tell somebody that you self-harm and that affects their view of you in a negative way, that is not somebody you want in your life in the first place. Like, you don't even want to be dealing with that person, so kind of good riddance, I guess, which doesn't make it any less difficult, but, like, that's just how I view it. The second thing to understand is that self-harming does not mean that you are, like, broken, or that something's wrong with you, or that you're worth less. It really doesn't. Again, you have fallen into a pattern of behavior that's not good for you. It doesn't mean you're not good. And, I mean, you need to kind of look at it the way you would look at any other destructive addiction. Because that's really what it turns into, is an addiction. Because, at least for me, self-harm was a control thing. And I talk about eating disorders a lot, and those are very often control things. And both behaviors actually take control of you. And it gets to the point where you are not in control of your actions because everything you do is revolving around that self-harm. So again, the first step is to talk to somebody about it, and to try to get help. And the second is you can't just stop cutting or burning or hitting or pulling out hair or whatever it is you do. You know, you can't just stop. Because the thing is, I feel like people, especially people who don't self-harm and are trying to help you, will think, oh, if I just take away all their razor blades, or I take away their lighter, or, you know, whatever it is you're using to harm yourself, then the issue is solved. And it's not. You need to examine why you do this, what the reasons are, and you need to work on changing those. Because it's kind of like cutting is the symptom, but what is it a symptom of? So it's about finding what causes you to do this, and trying to somehow fix that situation. And then we can work on damage control of actually stopping the destructive behavior itself. So, I never tried any of these, honestly, because it was just a really dark time in my life and I was not seeking help. But I have heard of a lot of different things that can help you if you have the urge to harm yourself. One of them that I've seen a lot is if you feel the urge to cut or self-harm, to take an ice cube and hold it really, really tightly in your hand, because that will cause some pain and some like sharp sensation that could maybe make the urge go away, but it won't actually hurt you. Another thing I've seen is that if you like draw a picture of the body part that you feel like you need to harm, and then using a red pen to make cuts sort of on the image but not on yourself, so you can kind of act out that urge without actually giving into it. Another thing, a lot of you have probably heard of the Butterfly Project. The Butterfly Project is something that kind of requires that you have a support system, but someone who is important to you, someone that you love, draws a butterfly on your arm. And the rule is you cannot cut or harm yourself until the butterfly and pen fades naturally. So you can have several butterflies on your arm. Once a butterfly fades, you ask somebody to draw another one, and you just look at those butterflies and remind yourself that there are people who want you to get better and want you to not continue these self-destructive patterns. This is getting a little long. I think I've basically hit everything I wanted to talk about, but again, if there's anything that you guys want me to touch on, I can definitely make another video. I think the last thing I'm going to round off on is if you do relapse and you self-harm while you're trying to recover, it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't mean that your attempt to recover has totally failed and you should just give up. It happens. You know, this is something that you're struggling with. It is hard to stop. And the fact that you are even trying or considering trying to stop is a huge thing in itself. So if you do, you know, fail to control that urge and you harm yourself, don't beat yourself up about it, because beating yourself up about it isn't going to help. It isn't going to move you forward. And what you really need to do is just say, you know what, I messed up, but I'm doing a good job and I'm going to keep trying to do a good job and I'm going to keep going. Also, I just want to let you guys know that if any of you ever need to talk about anything, the ask boxes on both of my blogs have anonymous enabled. However, if you ask anonymously, I will have to publish it because there's no way to answer it without publishing it. If you have a Tumblr and you ask off and on, just tell me that you don't want it published and I will answer privately. My blogs are Beauty Has No BMI. That's the one that's specifically about eating disorders, fat positivity, body positivity, recovery. And I have Mama Mantis, which is just my personal blog where I post about basically everything else. I'm going to put both links in the description, but I'm always there if you guys need advice, need to talk, and I will definitely keep it private and confidential if you need it to be that. So there's a resource for you as well. My Beauty Has No BMI blog also has a resources page that has like suicide hotlines and stuff like that for if you ever need anything like that. This is 8.5 fucking minutes long. I'm done. So thanks again. Again, I have another self-harm video on the way. Probably not tonight. Maybe tonight. I don't know. And then, oh Jesus Christ, 8:45. And then after that, I guess I'm gonna have a video about masturbation. But if any of you guys want anything else to be talked about, definitely leave it in the comments and I will do that. So thanks. See ya.